Hello gamers, my name is Ace and you're watching the A Station. This is part 3 of the 3-part series of my E3 opinion video. Yes, I still have not come up with a good name for it. But anyways, now we're going to be talking about Sony's press conference. Things started out with Microsoft and it was boring and they didn't have any surprises at all. They already told us stuff we already knew about, and then Nintendo came out strong by introducing old school games that we all know and love, like Donkey Kong, Kirby, and all that, which was awesome. And then they introduced a new 3DS, and then now we go on to Sony. Sony started out showing off some pretty cool things, games that we all love and expect, and stuff like that, pretty much sequels and whatnot. And then they went on to talk about their Move, which was their focal point, and their 3D game. So let's back up to the Move and talk a little bit about that. A lot of things that we've been hearing is that yes, it's a copy of the Nintendo's idea. It's pretty much a mirror image of what Nintendo did. But this is what's great about it. The fact is that now we have the controller that the Wii has, and we can play the games we've always wanted to play. Basically, Sony said, look, we can take that great idea and do better, and I think they did. In other words, now we have a console that will support better games than what it was capable on the Wii. Developers can sit there and go, sweet, now I'm able to do this, now I'm able to do that wasn't able to be done on the Wii. Again, I'm sorry I'm knocking Wii, but the Wii can only handle so much. They had a great idea and Sony's running with it. Before I move on, it's kind of funny because there was one thing that kind of made me mad in Attack of the Show. Again, it was with Adam Sessler, Jessica Chobot guest starring, and Kevin Pierre, and they were talking about the press conferences, and Jessica Chobot got all upset. She's like, I'm pissed off at Microsoft and Sony because back in the several E3s ago, they were making fun of Nintendo's controller, and now they're doing it. They jumped on the bandwagon, and she's like, that's like a slap in their face. It offends me and stuff like that. And it's kind of funny she said that because I'm like, they're always known for throwing punches at E3. Nintendo does it, Microsoft does it, and so does Sony. And it wasn't so long ago, many E3s ago, where Nintendo was making fun of Microsoft and Sony for having online capability. They're like, we don't need online, we don't need the internet, nobody plays the internet. And then 3 days later, Microsoft announced their 1 millionth subscriber to Xbox Live. So it's like, okay, come on. I mean, you didn't really think that through, Jessica, when you said that. So, everyone throws punches at E3. That's what it's all about. Of course they're going to do that. Anyways, I'm taking all my time with that argument. Going on to PlayStation Move, they had some hardcore titles designed for it, unlike Microsoft's Natal, which they should have done because they had almost 2 years to develop a hardcore title for. PlayStation actually did. They showed off SOCOM, they showed off Killzone 3, they also showed off Tiger Woods, they showed off Sorcery, which, by the way, really shows what the PlayStation Move is capable of. I thought it was really neat to sit there and watch how he waved the wand and all the magic effects and stuff like that, and he was able to control his character just fine on the screen, which is something that the Natal is not capable of doing. The Natal is focusing on using your entire body, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's going to be bitchin' games, but when it comes down to it, in order to in order to play a first-person shooter or a third-person perspective type game, you're going to need a controller. You won't be able to do it with the Natal. If you remember the demonstration with the what was it, the Natal? It was Star Wars, I think it was. Yeah, it was Star Wars. The character was moving, advancing ahead. It was like a track rail game, it's like House of the Dead and stuff like that. And you were just controlling the lightsaber. Where the PlayStation Move, you're able to move your controller. You're able to move around, kind of like the Wii with Zelda. You have your analog stick, you move your character around, and then you use the wand to do your moves and stuff like that. I think that the PlayStation 3's Move is going to be superior in that aspect. Also, the PlayStation 3 has games where I can't remember that fighting game that they showed, but where it just uses the camera and puts you in the game and you can actually fight. Yeah, it was kind of cheesy looking, but it actually looked really cool. So I think PlayStation 3 actually did do the right thing by heading that way. I mean, everyone saw it coming. Everyone saw that they were going to jump on the bandwagon like Nintendo and do their own thing. And I think PlayStation's actually going to take off with the PlayStation Move. Now, I know there's a lot of banter with the PlayStation Move and a lot of pissed off Wii owners, or I should say Nintendo owners, and it's business. If Nintendo has a great idea, it's a compliment to Nintendo. Nintendo probably doesn't look at it that way, but it's still, I mean, that's what revolutionizes gaming. I mean, this is our future. So, again, it's a peripheral. You do not have to buy it. It's not an upgrade or anything like that. You're still going to get your controller-based games and stuff like that. This is purely an option. They also introduced a great price point for it, and you got $40 for the wand or something like that. I can't remember the exact, maybe it was $50, whatever, and then you have to buy the navigator separate. The cool thing is that you can get the navigator later. Just buy the wand, get it done and over with, and then down the road get the I'm going to say the nunchuck. It was like the navigational controller or some shit like that. But you can get that later when a game comes out that supports it that you want to try. Get it later. But it's actually a really good price point for what it can do, especially if you already own the PlayStation Eye. Then it's really cheap. So I already own the Eye, so all I have to do is get the damn wand and the navigational control, which is pretty cool. But they actually showed off some pretty neat titles, which is what the Natal should have done. They also showed Killzone in 3D. They went around and they handed out all the glasses, and their reaction was fantastic. It was great. It let me know that they saw the potential of 3D. Yes, 3D glasses are expensive. Right now, TVs 3D, just like any other technology, it always comes out expensive and then it drops down in price. So you may not be able to get it now because it's too expensive, but you wait a year, it's going to drop down in price. Just like the Blu-ray did, just like the new DVD player back in the day, because the DVD players were really expensive when they first came out, and then they dropped in price. It's the same thing. So eventually you're going to get that 3D TV, and eventually you're going to get those 3D glasses, and eventually you're going to enjoy 3D games. And they were impressed with what they saw. It was a good reaction. And these aren't PlayStation 3 fans sitting in the audience. The audience went to all the press conferences. They're developers. So when you get a good reaction from what they saw, then you know that it's good. And they were able to show it right there, right then. They didn't have to stand in line to play the DS or anything like that. So kudos. I'm excited for 3D gaming down the road. I think it'd be pretty cool. Is it necessary? No, you can still enjoy your games without it. Again, it's optional. So there you go. Another cool thing that I like to point out, and it has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they brought out Kevin Butler. Awesome. Probably one of the best speeches I've heard in a long time. Kevin Butler, you hear for president and stuff like that, but he really made an awesome speech. So if you get a chance, search up Kevin Butler E3 press conference speech, and you'll enjoy it. And it doesn't matter if you're a Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo fan. He speaks to everyone. He does talk about the Move a little bit, but he does tip his hat to all gamers around all platforms. So watch it. You'll love it. But that's pretty much everything I have to say about PlayStation. The 3D technology, their Move, I'm excited for. I'm also excited for Natal. Like I said, it's just we need something more solid for the Natal in order to really make me go wow, where Sony already did. I'm very proud that Sony came prepared this year. Because last year they didn't do as well as Microsoft or Nintendo. Nintendo was in last, PlayStation was in the middle, and Microsoft, took off on the press conference last year. But this year it was definitely Nintendo all the way. Sony also had another big announcement. They introduced Portal 2, which was amazing. That was good. And they also brought back Twisted Metal, which was another good surprise. So at least they had some surprises under their hat. Anyways, if you haven't caught my other two videos about Microsoft and Nintendo, check them out. My name is Ace. Thank you for watching the Ace Station. Feel free to leave opinions, and what you thought, and hate mail and love mail. All right, take her easy.